Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Okafor from John Samuel Estate. Here with me also is Darren Jairo and also Brendan Tesley. It's an amazing news, isn't it, that we as an industry, we have been unlocked and we can now go back to work. Fantastic. But at the same time, we must be very conscious of how we conduct our businesses during this time. We have to operate in a professional manner. We need to enlighten our clients, landlords, tenants, vendors, in whatever category they're in. We need to enlighten them so that they have an understanding of how we will conduct our business during this period and what is expected of us and what is also expected of them as well. So firstly, we will be talking about viewings. During the lockdown, we've had virtual viewings, which has been successful. We are still encouraged to carry that on, to go on with that.
Mhm.
But should the clients desire to still see, want to visit a property on a face-to-face basis, that is now allowed, but there's a safety guideline that we have to follow as a professional. So what it is we would come for the appointment, but we will come with our masks, we come with our accessories, our safety accessories, like the masks, the gloves, the sanitizer. If the property is occupied, the tenant or the landlord will have to stay outside or they'll stay in a room. We still have to maintain the social distancing rules, at least 2 meter, so we won't be in direct contact with anyone. And we're also being required that if there's a property, if there's any suspected case of COVID-19 or coronavirus, we will have to wait for 14 days after the isolation period is over and the patient has received all clear. So that is the
Mhm.
only restrictions we have for anyone that that's been infected with the virus. Aside from that, we can carry on with viewings of tenanted properties or unoccupied properties. Later on, Darren will be talking more of how we've had success during the lockdown in terms of rental of our properties. For those first-time buyers or existing buyers wishing to buy your property, wishing to buy your property at this time, you can go online to search for your properties. There's no restrictions in doing that. You can accept a property based on virtual viewing. And if you decide that you want to actually go and see a property, then you're encouraged to do so. But there's a safety guideline that we have to follow as well. And if you want to sell your property, if you're still living in the property, you have to stay in a room or you have to stay outside the
Mhm.
property. And all this is to ensure that we are all keeping safe and in order to minimize the virus and pandemic at this time. In terms of removal, if you are in a position to move at this time, you're encouraged to do so, but you need to get in touch with your removal company on time. And we've
Mhm.
also been advised by British Association of Removals that they would advise that only one person from the removal company should be present, and
Mhm.
also all household are required to do the packing themselves, as opposed to having someone from a different household helping them. So it's advisable that packing is done by people of the same household. Then in terms of viewing, we would restrict the number of people coming for viewings. It has to be people from the same household. We would not really encourage children at this time, which is what we have been told again by the housing minister yesterday. In terms of keeping your house safe and safety tradesmen like the engineers and all, like, it's a legal requirement for a landlord to still have the house, to have all the safety checks done. We will still carry on with that, but in accordance with the safety measures and guideline that has been put in place. So this is just to help someone out there that you're confused. Yes, you've been seeing it all over the news. It's been talked about that estate agencies are back to businesses, but this is also to let you know how John Samuel Estate hope to work between during this period, and that is what we have a guideline that we have been instructed to follow, and that is how we choose to run our business during this period, and also to put your safety over profits. That is our number one mantra for this period,
Mhm.
and also for the during the pandemic, during the lockdown, we've had good number of moving in as well. We've had new clients coming on board. And I would just like Darren to just share one or two success stories of how we've been able to get that success and how we conducted our business during that period. Over to you, Darren.
Thank you, Stephanie. So for me, I just want to touch on a few points, like just like Stephanie's reiterated. For us as an agency, we know the most important thing is life. Like there's no money that's more important than someone's breath in their lungs and being able to get up every day. So we've kind of adapted to what's happened in regards to this pandemic. We've really had to adapt, and instead of being a normal estate agent, we've had to do things differently. Like Stephanie said, although there's been a pandemic, for us as an agency, April was one of the best performing months. Me personally, all within keeping in mind the safety of everybody. For John Samuel Estates, since the pandemic has started, business has been as good as it could be, just because we've managed to stay open, where I know some other agencies have actually closed during the pandemic. Temporarily, of course, we stayed open every day, getting up, networking 9 to 5, to ensure we're providing a service not just for landlords, but also showing our helping hand in helping fight this pandemic, whether that means helping a family that's probably in a bad situation, whether they've been evicted or something like that. We've done the best that we can with the resources that we have in the height of this pandemic to make sure that a deal can be done. For example, I'll just give one very small example. There was a property in Ilford. A landlord, that property was vacant for a good few months. He didn't know which direction he was going to go with it and how he was going to go, but we stuck by him, always letting him know that we're here for any time, anything, and anytime he has a query, he can just get in contact with us, and we're happy to go ahead. Eventually, he come round, give us the property. Within about a week or two, we found a family that they had just been evicted from their house, and they were really desperate to find a place. We did everything we can. Within a week or two, managed to seal a deal, put a family in a home. Just because, during all of this, you don't want to feel like you have nowhere to call home, to come back to, and feel safe. And we felt obliged, and we felt like it was part of our responsibility to help them in the best way that we can, and we did. We managed to secure that they're happy, they're in a safe house, they're warm, they don't have to worry about being infected or anything like that, like going to, do you know what I mean? It's just been a really good experience to be part of. Although it's had its bad sides, it's been in some ways good for our industry, and we hope to carry on playing our part to help beat this virus. And we're very happy that we can now go back to some sort of normality. Not fully yet, but the viewings and everything else with precaution is very good for us.
That's really good, isn't it? And another grateful, or would I say another positive part during the lockdown, that we were able to enlighten and educate our tenants, our landlords, because at that time a lot of people panicked. They weren't sure of what was happening next. We were able to offer advice based on the schemes available to them. So I wouldn't even comment on any negativity in terms of our books or existing books, which is fantastic. And we've been able to enlighten everyone, which is what we're doing now that we are all returning back into our working hours, going back into the offices. We just need to help you to understand the safety measures that we need to follow as property professionals in order to keep everyone safe and to reduce the virus. And also with us is Brendan, which has just recently joined us. And I'll just let him share one or two things of how he's been able to manage during this lockdown, and if this one or two things is gained as well. Over
Thank
to
you,
Brendan.
Stephanie.
No problem.
I feel like this is a great time for me to join John Samuels, because like no other estate, we are still progressing as a normal agency.
Yes,
we are viewing and taking properties very seriously when it comes to this COVID-19. We are taking precautions. We advise tenants to either stay in a separate room while we do the property viewing, or we advise them to stand outside so we can just go around the house and have a little look. Fantastic. and do our work. Also, joining John Samuels, I've had very good contact with Aaron and Stephanie with anything I've needed. and they've helped me along the lines. And I think this is the start of something special.
Mhm.
And from John Samuel team, thank you very much, and I hope you all stay safe.
Yeah, thank you, Brendan. So that's it about us. We just thought it would be a good idea just to communicate at large to everyone, just letting you know what you should expect from us and what we'd expect from you in order to, for us all as a nation, as an individual, as a family, corporately, to stay safe during this period. And I'm sure we'll all be fine. Also, once again, if you have any questions in relations to private rental sector, we will be more than happy to help. If you have any questions in terms of schemes or grants that has been put aside by the government to help you either as a tenant or as a landlord or as a vendor, whatever category you fall in, we'll be more than happy to help. And if we're unable to, we'll point you in the directions that you need to be. And I believe that's it. Then also our property surgery is also returning virtually. We would circulate how you would be able to book yourself in, but for the time being, it will be done virtually, and it will still be the same way of calling in, booking yourself in, and we'll let you know what time you should either Zoom in or probably through a conference calling. And finally, just to reiterate, just as I said at the beginning, safety over profit. That's our mantra for this period. Once again, thank you everyone for listening, and we will be in touch. Thank you.